Good morning. I'll start off with my name is Brandon, and I've been feeling a push and a draw to give my testimony and of the days and the time that we're in. And when I tell you everything in the world has tried to stop me from doing this, prevent me from being given the time to actually do this. I think it's very ironic that my wife's wedding bouquet is above my head right here. I don't really have a place to do videos or anything like this because I've never done that before. That's not really who I am. I always have kind of kept to myself, and I've never really felt like a part of this world. Some of you may be able to relate to that. I've always really been one of those people that pays attention to what's going on in the world, whether it be politics or conflicts, wars, the weather, earthquakes. I've always looking at the bigger picture and been one of those people that have been able to kind of put pieces together. My whole life I've always been like that. And I think just as many of you others have felt this sense of urgency, sense of preparedness, this push to be prepared. I've felt that for many, many years now. Last year, I could see the things that were happening, and it just created an intense feeling of sense of urgency. This year, the writing's on the wall with what's been happening around the world, and the world gathering against Israel, and the earthquakes, and the volcanoes, the weather, the disease. What's going on with Israel right now, and the push for a Palestinian state, the push to divide the land that God has given them. The writings all over the world, all over the wall of the time that we live in. And the season that we're in, with And when I tried to talk about this to my family, like I'm saying, there's been so many times in the past that we've had the same feeling of the time being close. And I say to that, no, I understand that, but I don't think there's ever been any other time in history where you have everything lining up so perfectly the way it is. Perfectly with numbers, perfectly with world events, perfectly with just the feeling in your spirit. I think many of you also feel that. And on top of all that being said, then we have the numbers adding up in the Bible, in Scripture. We have Brother Joshua, who released his prophecy. I'm going to call it what it is. I'm a pretty straightforward kind of guy. And then I was led to Brother Michael, Met It for Christ. And I'm a numbers kind of person. I can see the significance in numbers. I can put numbers together, and numbers don't lie. And over the past several months, I have seen where some people have described this just feeling of peace, like the most complete peace in your heart that you could ever feel. And I have been overcome with that sense of peace. And also another sense of urgency. The feeling that time really is short, and that the message of salvation is so important. So important. As the clock's really, truly ticking down. With all that being said, I also, several months back, I've been feeling a push to get closer with God. Really try to hear Him. And just get closer in that personal relationship. I've always been a firm believer in a personal relationship. Never really have been the church going type. I just feel like the message across many churches is kind of skewed. It can be portraying their own agenda and their own message, really. And I don't think that's what it's all about. I think the main message is love. Love each other. Encourage each other. Don't judge each other. It's not our place. It's not our place to judge. If there's one thing I felt more strongly than the peace, and one thing I felt so strongly my entire life, is the love for others. And it's because of this that part of why I'm bringing this testimony forward. I'm going to go ahead and start by saying I do not know the Bible front to back. I've been on my path trying to learn more and study more. But I have the one thing that I have no doubt of is what Jesus did for us on the cross. I have no doubt of the feeling that a lot of others have been feeling, because I struggled with the same thing. And that thing I speak of is that feeling of unrighteousness. That feeling of unrighteousness. Not feeling adequate. The feeling of, how could you accept me, Lord? I'm so imperfect. I'm so damaged. I think we've all struggled with that feeling. I think we've all struggled with that feeling, because that's the truth. And that's the biggest weapon that's used against all of us. That feeling of unworthiness, unrighteousness. And, the truth hurts. But that's okay. Because that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. That's why God sent His Son. That's why God sent His Son to us. Because He knows we are imperfect. He knows that it's impossible for us to be perfect. It's impossible for us to be without sin. We're born into this corrupt world. You don't have to be perfect. That's the whole point. God loves us so much that He sent His only Son to pay that price in His blood for all of us. For all of us. It's the gift of God. Through grace we are saved. Through grace we are saved. Through faith in Christ, in Jesus, and what He did for all of us on that cross. Being tortured and going through so much agony and pain, and carrying that whole weight of the world's sin on His shoulders. That's love. That's love. And He went through that, and then He was risen 3 days later. I don't know how you can't love someone that would do that for you. I know most of you do. But it's the whole point, right? God loves us so much that He sent His Son to do that for us, so that we may believe in Him and have faith in Him and gain our salvation through Him. Through grace we are saved, through faith, not of ourselves, lest any man should boast, right? It's not of ourselves. Grace is not of ourselves. We are not righteous people. The only way we're made righteous is through Jesus. He's the one that makes us righteous. That's the only way. Jesus is literally the only way. And it's that simple. It's that simple. And over the past several months, I've truly been blessed with some things that I can't really explain. Never had this happen to me before. First time for everything, right? But I started having visions several months back. And when I say vision, I mean I'm wide awake. I'm getting ready for work, or just lay down in the bed, or just come out of the shower, and all of a sudden I don't even really know how to describe it. It's very difficult to describe what happens when you're receiving something like that. It's not in front of my eyes. It's not in front of my eyes. It's, in here. You can call it your mind's eye, or, your whatever you want to call it. It's in here. I've had 7. before I started getting the visions, I was seeing numbers before that. 2s and 7s. Quite a bit. Honestly, now that I think about it, they could have started happening at the same time. It's hard for me to remember those things sometimes because I work so much. Between 10 and 12 hours a day. I took vacation this week. I think we all kind of know why. And I've been trying to pull myself back from the world and allow me to not be so distracted. But without further ado, I am going to go into those 7 visions that I received on top of all the numerous 2s and 7s. The first vision that I had, it was a simple one. I say simple, but I should say quick. And it was just of me and my wife. And at the time that it happened, I was outside. I had just got done praying. And my wife was right beside me in this vision. And we're kind of looking up into the sky. And we both see this bright white ball of light. And it's moving towards us, and it honestly looked like the sun to me. It was that bright, but it wasn't hot or anything like that. And the closer it got to us, we both started raising up, and we both at the same time, it felt like we were kneeling as we were raising, and we both started just praise Jesus, praise Jesus. We knew it was Him. And we were praising Jesus and being raised up, and then all of a sudden we were gone. The second vision that I received, I was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I got this image that went across of these, really it just looked like this dark red sky, and it was like almost like a thunderstorm type clouds, but they were rolling all across the whole sky, and I could see lightning like kind of going in and out through them, and that's all it was. I just got this almost like this feeling of darkness coming, if that makes any sense. My third vision actually happened while I was driving home from work one day. I was sitting at a stoplight, and was behind several cars. All of a sudden, I just see this white flash come down and envelop my whole body, and just shoot straight up. And that was it. But it was so clear. didn't obstruct my vision of what I was seeing in front of me, but it was there. It was there. Fourth vision I had was also during prayer. The fourth vision I had, it was beautiful. And I saw Jesus kind of with his arms outreached, lifting up. And it was like this beautiful ball of light in the distance. And he was in the foreground. And I see people rising. I see people rising by the multitudes. And that was all of that one. The fifth vision that I received, I really had no idea what it actually meant until later. The fifth vision, I was laying in bed, me and my wife were talking, and then all of a sudden I started getting it. Because that's how it happens. You never know when exactly. I mean, you can't expect it. It just happens. But I was laying in the bed, and all of a sudden I just see this beautiful image. I see this beautiful field, just vibrant, beautiful colors, the most peace. I see my wife's grandmother, who actually passed away a few years ago. And this woman, let me tell you, we didn't have too many times together. But the times we had, it was like we just clicked. I loved her, and we could just have the greatest conversations about anything. It's like we just clicked. And I saw her, and she was giving me this flower, and it was the most beautiful purple flower. I tried looking it up, and I found some similar things, but nothing compared to what I seen. I mean, it was just the most beautiful purple flower, and it was vibrant, almost like it was glowing, iridescent, luminous, I should say, with the light, just the color coming off of it. And the coolest thing was, is the middle of the flower, it was just this bright white. It was so beautiful, and she was smiling when she handed it to me, and the background was this beautiful field, and I could see the sun, and it was super bright, or it kind of like a sun, but there was no heat coming off of that sun. It was just bright, pure white light. You know, right after that happened, I asked my wife, I'm like, baby, I'm like, do you have any, do you know if Nina, like, really like purple flowers, or do you know anybody in your family likes purple flowers? Like, I had no idea what the meaning of that. And I talked to my dad and my stepmom about it, and they were like, son, everything's revealed with time. And so true that is, because it wasn't that long ago that, Michael, you put Meta for Christ. You put out a video, I believe it was called Final Warning, and you started going into detail on all these visions of the color purple that you've been seeing. And you started describing it. It was like everything instantly clicked. And I was like, oh my God, that's what it meant. That's what it meant. I felt it in my soul. I'm like, that's what it meant. And I can't tell you, like, how good that felt. Like, it was like a whole revelation of understanding of what I was focusing on the wrong thing. I was focusing on the wrong thing, and I couldn't see it clearly until it was explained through someone else. And Michael, you did a great job explaining that and what it meant. And you really clarified, and it really made a lot of sense to me. And I thank you for that. You really blessed me. You really blessed me, and you didn't even know it. Before I move on to the other two visions that I had, I wanted to say something for Patience B, and forgive me, I don't know your name, but I know your heart, and you have so much love in you. You have so much love in you, and I can recognize the spirit in you. And you did something for me too that you have no idea. Early on, when I started receiving these visions, you had one of your early videos that you pulled out, and you were talking about how God talks to you and how He gives you messages and how He plays with the clouds in the sky. And you had mentioned that at the end of that video, you had mentioned the numbers 2 and 7 appearing in the sky for you. And it instantly clicked with me. I know you didn't quite understand it at the time, but it instantly clicked with me, and you blessed me. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that. I think you have such a beautiful soul. And I thank you for that blessing. I truly do. Coincidentally, another thing that popped into my mind after that was Acts 2:17. And the 2 and the 7, right? And I was seeing 2s and 7s primarily for the longest time. And it makes complete sense. Acts 2:17. And I shall come in the last day, and it shall come in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, And your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. I don't believe that there are coincidences, and I don't believe in so many coincidences. Those numbers are showing up for a reason. Part of God's perfect plan. Now, I think He showed that to us so much over the past several months. It's insane. But I'll get more into the confirmations after I finish the visions. The sixth vision that I had, and let me see if I can go ahead and turn this light back on. Is it turned off on me? Forgive me for that. Whoa, now I gotta turn it down. The sixth vision I had. I was literally stepping out of the shower. And I had just got done earlier after I finished work. And I was talking to one of my coworkers, and we were fellowshipping in the Lord and talking about all of this. And it was really fruitful. We had a really good conversation. I came home. It was a little later because we had talked for quite a bit. Normal routine. Get cleaned up. Shower. Stepping out of the shower. And that's when it happened again. It's hard for me to describe exactly because it's hard to describe a sound and a feeling at the same time. But I heard and felt as this vision started the deepest sound. It was the trumpet sounding. I know what it was. But when I tell you, it was the deepest sound, and it was like you could just feel the vibration through your body. And again, I see Jesus in the foreground, and He's got His arms outreached with His hands up, lifting. And I see the clouds, and it's so dark, and it's like those same red stormy clouds. It was a very darkness, and it had a red tint, and they were very stormy. And but right in this one center portion, it was bright, and I could see a stream of souls going up into this, funneling through this one bright section of sky. And that's not all I saw. I saw so many people running towards that light, but they were not being lifted up. And this may be a little disturbing for some of you, and I apologize, but that's what it is. But they had no skin on their bodies. It's like they were flesh and bloody. I could feel the agony. I could feel the screams. I could feel the wailing. I could feel the chaos. I could feel the confusion, the anger, the hatred. And they were all running after, trying to stop the people from being raised. And I felt in my heart that nothing they could do was stop what was happening, because that's what was in God's will. That's what was in God's will. And you can't stop God's will. And I think it's a testament to what lies beyond in the tribulation. You know, it's literally going to be, it's going to be hell on earth. And that really impacted me, and it really affected me in a way, and really put an increased sense of urgency in me, because you know what? I don't want anybody to have to go through that. I don't want anybody to have to go through what is coming. And you know, I just love everybody, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that. Anybody. That hit me pretty deep. The last vision that I had, it was actually a whole sequence of events that happened that morning. I was not expecting it as per usual. I remember exactly what day it was, because it was the same day that unfortunately what happened to Charlie Kirk that day. It was the same day that happened, that morning that it happened, on the 10th. And this is where you come in, Brother Joshua, where you blessed me and you don't even know it. I was watching a video that you had put out with the Scent Twins, whereas you were describing the sounds you were hearing prior to making the decision in your heart to put your message out. And you started describing that trumpet sound that you were hearing, and you described it exactly the way I heard and felt it. That deep, vibrating noise, I think you described it as like a cruise ship noise, that deep and loud. And I was like, instantly, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly the noise I heard. This is exactly the noise I heard. And I'm like, there ain't no way, because most of the time, when people describe that trumpet noise or a trumpet noise, you don't hear it described like that. I've never heard it described like that until Brother Joshua described that noise that he was hearing prior to making that decision in his heart to release the information that Jesus brought to him on these days that we're in right now. And Brother Joshua, you blessed me with that. You really did. Even more added confirmation to what I was seeing. And I kid you not, that morning, that wasn't the end of that. I do Robinhood. I do a little here and there. You know, it's a investing app or whatever. I put a little here and there and just see what happens. I don't really use it too often. But anybody that has that app knows that they'll put little snacks, send you emails in the morning sometimes, and give you like tips and tricks or whatever, okay? Well, I had got a message as I was watching that video of the interview you were doing, Joshua, and I kid you not, I paused that video to look at this notification, and not only did I pause it on exactly 45 minutes and 27 seconds, which there's my 2 and my 7, and then the 4 and the 5, obviously that's 9. But the little message said into thin air. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you can't make this up. It was like a confirmation on a confirmation, which that has increased to insane amounts. For me personally, the closer we get to the days that we're in today and tomorrow. But then, that's when I had my last vision. I say the last vision because it was number 7. And 7 is the number of completion. You know, even after all that was happening, all that happened this morning, and you blessed me, and I ran across your interview, and that sound was confirmed. He wasn't done with me just yet. So, literally getting ready for work, getting my clothes on, and all of a sudden, I see Jesus, and he's looking at me, and I see his face, and he's looking at me, and he's smiling from ear to ear. I can feel the excitement. I can feel the love. I can feel the happiness and the joy in his smile. And every morning, one of the things I pray for is to follow the path that the Father leads me on, filled with his Spirit, walking hand in hand with his Son. And let me tell you, the vision transitioned from seeing his face to me being raised up in the background just a little bit, looking down. And there was a beautiful, beautiful cobblestone path. And I was walking with him. I could see myself walking with him. I could see myself walking with him, but I was as a child. I was as a child when I was walking with him. And we were walking to the only thing that I can describe as the kingdom. And I really felt like he was telling me we were on the home stretch. Like somewhere almost there. And I truly believe that. But he wasn't done with me after that either. He wasn't done with me after that, because then he started talking to me. And I know it was him who was talking to me, because I know Jesus. I know how he talks. And there's a difference. And I'm going to read what he told me, because I wrote down as he was saying it to me. And he said, "Verily I say unto you, my children shall not perish. Those of the light shall stay in the light. I have not forsaken them. Woe to those who have not accepted me, for I am the Son of Man. Woe to those that take the mark, as they shall perish and suffer immensely. I am coming for my children. We shall all be together soon. Fear not, for I am with you always. The wedding is nearly ready, my son. I shall see you all soon. You shall rise up and fly like an eagle. That's from Isaiah, that last part. For those who, I don't know, I don't have my Bible in front of me to, say all the exact words, but those who wait on me will renew their strength and fly like the wings with the eagles. You know what I'm talking about. And he wasn't done with me at that point either, because I was trying to go ahead and do my morning prayer too. And I always started out with the Lord's Prayer. And then I prepare for my day. And before I could even get the thought completely out, he was already answering it in my head, telling me. He's like, oh yeah, taken care of. Yeah, we're already doing that. Just things like that. I'm just like, well, you know what? I guess it's going to be a shorter prayer than normal. And something you said, Joshua, kind of reminded me of that when you were talking with Jesus, and he was like, you were thinking and he was responding as you were thinking, and it reminded me of that. And that was the last one I got. And I know I'm I'm late into the game with this, and I say better late than never. You know, I don't know who needs to hear this message. I don't know. I don't want any credit for any of this myself, because this is not of me. This is a gift from God that's been given and shown to me, and the credit is not mine. I want to make that clear. I just felt so strongly that I really needed to put this out there. If nothing more, as a message of encouragement, a message of love, and a message that our King is coming. I truly believe that. With everything that I've seen going on throughout the world, the signs in the stars, the sun, the moon, everything that's happening. And then on top of all of that, these visions, and then confirmations so numerous that it would be hard for me to put all of them into one video. But the numbers started from 2s and 7s to showing me the dates on ovens, on thermostats, on clocks, on video thumbnails, on license plates is a big one. I'm an automotive technician by trade, and I've had cars where I've had the mileage, the trip, the estimate, the license plate, all lining up for the same numbers. All lining up for the same numbers. It's just, there's no way that I can deny. There's no way I will deny what I've seen and what I've been shown. I love you all. I love you all so much, and I hope this blesses someone. I hope this blesses someone. Joshua, Michael, Medic for Christ. Patience B, forgive me, I don't know your name. I hope this blesses y'all. Mark, Strength Ministries, that message of love that you put out, I really felt that, because I feel the same way. Could you just imagine if everybody just loved each other the way God puts that love in our heart? I think that I'm a firm believer in the Spirit, recognizing the Spirit, and I recognize the Spirit. I recognize the Spirit when I see it. I just put your faith and your heart in Christ. Put your faith in your heart in Christ. Unbind your heart of any seeds of unforgiveness that you may have that are weighing you down. Free your heart and fill it with Jesus. For He is the way, the truth, and the light. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.